What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is Leo's Nerd Talk, and today we're going to be going over The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So let's get into that. Hi, my name is Leo, and if you guys talk about anything movie, TV show, video game later, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. And like I said, today we're talking about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. So without further ado, let's get into the review. Now, it has been a while since I've made a video. A couple of things have happened in the last couple of months. One being that I am now married exactly 1 month from today. So congratulations to me. But that happened. So that was very, very busy and packed and a lot of things going on during that time. There's so much that we had to take care of. And also on top of that, right after we got married, we moved. As you can tell, there's still some boxes laying here and there that we have to pack up or put away, I should say. So we've been very, very busy for the last month or so. So I haven't really had a chance to make a video, sit down, watch a movie, anything like that. I barely have gone to the movie theaters in the last 2 months. So it's been definitely difficult to try to make some content out for you guys. But regardless, here I am still trying to complete this Spider-Man review series, especially with Brand New Day just right around the corner. We are 2 weeks away. So I'm going to try to knock out this review and the 3 Tom Holland movies to prepare for this new one. I'm not sure if I will do the animated ones. I'm going to do my best to try to do so. If not, at least I will include them in the ranking once Brand New Day does come out, because I do remember those movies very, very well. I'll try to watch them regardless, even if I don't put a review out, just so I can give you my clear thoughts on them if I do decide to put them in the ranking. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get straight into the review. So start off with my pros with The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the suit. This is one of those suits that most people will say is probably the best suit that Spider-Man has ever worn. I can pretty much agree with that on almost all aspects. I do still think that the Tobey Maguire suit is the best suit of all time, but I do very much enjoy this suit. I love the way it looks. The colors pop very, very nicely. So I do really enjoy the suit in this movie. I also really like the action. I think the way the action is filmed, the set pieces, all the different battles and stuff like that Spider-Man goes through, I do think they're absolutely incredible. The choreography is absolutely amazing. So all the action within this movie, it keeps you hyped up, especially in that last like 20 minutes. It is just non-stop action. So it's absolutely incredible. So I do really like the action in this movie, all the fight sequences, all the swinging sequences, how everything is shot and cut and stuff like that. It makes it for being superly action packed and very hyped up, and it just keeps you engaged throughout the entire movie. I also really like the score in this movie, not necessarily the soundtrack. I think the needle drops and the soundtrack in this movie are very off-putting, but the score itself, like the actual Spider-Man theme and all the different just music that comes to invoke some sort of type of emotion throughout the movie, I think is done very, very well. I'm not sure who the composer is. I should have looked that up, but it is just an incredible score, and I think it fits this movie very well. Lastly, I do think that the last 20 minutes are some of the best Spider-Man we have ever gotten. It is absolutely incredible. That fight sequences between Electro is absolutely amazing. And of course, you have the moment with Harry coming in as like the Goblin. That whole fight sequence is absolutely incredible. That leads into the infamous Gwen Stacy moment of her falling from the tower that we all know about. That was absolutely emotional. That made my heart drop. I got chills watching that sequence. So it was absolutely incredible. That last 20 minutes of this movie are just peak Spider-Man, in my opinion. And also, I think they did a pretty good job of trying to set up a third movie. Unfortunately, we never got the third movie, but I think if we did, I would have been pretty excited to see what the third movie would have been if this kind of little trilogy would have continued on to that third film, because I do think there is a lot of good things about The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. There is a lot of negative, and I think that's why we never got that third movie. But I would have been excited seeing how this led to that third film. I think it would have done very, very well if we ever got that. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into my cons. And start my cons is everything else in this movie. But on a serious note, I didn't care for the villains in this movie very much. Electro, I think, as a character was very strange, and I didn't really care for his motivation too much. It just seemed too weird. And having Jamie Foxx, this like cool dude, be the villain and make him super nerdy and awkward, it just doesn't fit Jamie Foxx all that well. And then once he does become Electro, it just doesn't really fit him either. I just think his motivation for being evil is just not that great. And I didn't really care for the design of Electro either. On the other side, we have Harry going into a Green Goblin-esque type of thing. I didn't care for Harry's character either. I just found him very annoying. I found his character just seemed very weird and awkward as well. I hate the interaction between him and Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker. I didn't sense them ever having a friendship in the past before. Like, that just didn't feel natural to me. So I just didn't really care about Harry's character throughout this entire movie. So when he became finally like the Green Goblin, it just didn't work for me either. I just didn't buy into that. Even though the action was cool, I still just didn't care for him as a villain. And I also didn't really need Peter's parents' background story of being this sort of like espionage type of action movie where they were secret agents or they stole information and all this different stuff from the government, and the government tracking them down. They have to go into hiding and stuff like that. Like, I did not care for that at all. I think that's just a poor decision to do that story for his parents. It just felt very off-putting, and it just didn't really make sense in the movie, and I just didn't care for that. I didn't care to learn more about his parents. I wish we just focused more on Peter Parker and his journey, but instead we got this whole like action thriller spy movie as a subplot. And speaking of subplots, there's like a bajillion subplots. You have Harry's story, you have Gwen's story, Peter Parker's story, you have Aunt May's story, you have the parents' story, you have Electro story, all these different stories going on at the same time, just doing way too much. And that ultimately leads to the movie sometimes feeling a little overwhelming and boring. There's so much going on that they have to set up all these little intricate stories that it's so weirdly paced that you end up being bored for most of the movie. And while you have those good, awesome moments, most of the film, you just really find yourself not really caring about what is even happening on screen. But with that being said, is Amazing Spider-Man 2 the worst Spider-Man movie in all Spider-Man franchise? No, I think I would still prefer watching this over Spider-Man 3, even though I have more nostalgia for Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire. But I do think the highs of this movie are a lot higher than Spider-Man 3, but the lows do feel a lot lower. So I don't think it's the absolute worst. I think you have really great moments in this movie, but overall, not a really movie that I would go back to rewatch all that often. If I'm gonna watch a Spider-Man movie, I'm either gonna pick Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland. Andrew Garfield's 1-2 punch is probably my least favorite storyline out of all 3 or 4 Spider-Mans we've gotten so far. But that is going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know what you guys thought about The Amazing Spider-Man 2 in the comment section down below. Let me know how excited you are for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I am extremely excited. It seems like it's going to be absolutely epic and kind of going back to true form for Spider-Man. And it's not going to be this multiverse thing, hopefully. But I know there's a lot of things going on in that movie just based on the trailer. So I hope it is absolutely incredible and absolutely delivers. So I'm going to continue doing on this Spider-Man review series. And once that movie comes out, we will do a full ranking of the entire Spider-Man franchise. But again, if you guys have time with the movie, TV show, video game related, or just anything nerdy, you are in the right place. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thank you.